Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, Today we're going to go down kind of a myth busting journey. I want to talk about MPox, aka monkeypox, and what exactly is it? There's a lot of rhetoric. Some people think it's going to be an excuse for shutdowns and civil liberty damage, which we've seen before. That's totally valid way to look at it. Others say it's a genuine disease, but it's not something to worry about, and others are freaking out, right? You have these various extremes. I'm going to go and we're just going to do a clinical review. What exactly is it? And we're going to go through, well, a less questionable source. So I'll be right back and let's just do a quick review. Like, what is this thing that's happening and everyone's panicking about? And of course, it's in an election year, as Donald, it's an election year. Um, that sounded more like Bernie Sanders. I can't get Trump down. Anyway, I'll be right back. Hey, so once again, thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, I normally premiere these videos. I will be in the premiere. For some reason, I don't make my premiere, which does happen because of my work schedule. Feel free to leave comments in the chat. In the comments below the video, you can also email me at theroamingprepper@gmail.com. I'm also on Rumble, TikTok, Instagram, Zuckerbook, and obviously YouTube. So you can find me in a bunch of places. Anyway, monkeypox. Let's talk a little bit about it. And the first thing when you look at monkeypox is all these articles, which most of which are very, how shall I say it, fantastic. They're very they're actually spastic is what I was going to say. They're very almost insightful the way they present it. And instead of doing that, and I didn't want to go to the WHO because the WHO to me lost a lot of credibility by not doing their homework right and having people meds that may have not been ready for public use. Um, so instead, I went to the Mayo Clinic, which, although granted it is government subsidized, it's also, I've dealt with scientists from this place and it's more think tanky. So I figured we'll start there and let's see what they say. So, what is monkeypox? So, mpox, previously called monkeypox. Why don't they just call it monkeypox? Like, anyway, mpox is a rare disease caused by the mpox virus. The virus usually affects rodents such as rats and mice, or non-human primates as monkeys. It can occur in people. Those physical types, there's a reason they use rats to test medicines and poisons and such, because their physiology, though smaller, is a faster metabolism version of us, believe it or not. So they're very similar. So that makes perfect sense that rodents, primates, humans, similar genome. Okay, I got it. So moving on to a little bit more. Symptoms start 3 to 17 days after exposure. They can last 2 to 4 weeks. And it says the time between when you're exposed and when you have symptoms is called the incubation period. I guess that's for people who couldn't figure that out. Mpox symptoms include fever, rash, swollen lymph nodes, headaches, muscle aches, chills, and tiredness. That kind of sounds like the mumps too. You do get sores on the body about 1 to 4 days after you begin having a fever. Skin rash starts. There we go. The mpox rash often first appears on the face, hands, and feet, and then spreads to other parts of the body. In cases linked to the outbreak in 2022, the rash often started in the genital area, mouth, or throat, and then it becomes blisters, et cetera, and whatnot. And hey, there's nobody here but us. Did you just bark at the garbage can? Go on. No, I don't want to. I don't want dogs that bark at garbage cans. That's silly. Go fight with someone else. Fighting with the garbage can. Anyway, sorry about that. Um, Mpox. How does it spread? Direct contact with rashes, scabs, body fluids of a person, extended close contact, and they say more for 4 hours with respiratory droplets, include sexual contact. Well, I thought that would be, wouldn't sexual contact be direct contact? Like, why did they put sexual contact with close contact? Anyway, somebody screwed up there. Anyway, clothes, sheets, blankets, other materials. An affected pregnant person can spread the virus to the fetus. That makes sense. Can spread from animal to person through bites and scratch. Wild game that's cooked for food, probably improperly. Products such as skins, furs from infected animals, and body fluids, blood, etc. How can I prevent? This seems very straightforward. Avoid close contacts with people who have a rash that looks like MPox. Don't handle clothes, sheets, blankets, or other materials. Isolate people who have MPox from healthy people. Wash your hands well with soap and water to prevent infection. Avoid animals that may carry the virus. There are some smallpox vaccines also prevent MPox, including the ACAM 2000. I have no idea what that is, or the Genos vaccine. These vaccines, I'm going to look and see how long that vaccine has been around, because sometimes they just conjure these things, and sometimes they've been around for 50 years and they've just been, hey, we figured this out. Treatment re- is aimed at relieving the symptoms, uh, hydrating enough, because you'll get runs, skin management, uh, cleanliness, separate person from pets and family. There's no specific treatment. It sounds like you just, and then there are some people who don't respond to the vaccine at all. A healthcare provider may provide a globulin, which has antibodies which will just minimize uh, the effect. Complications could include scars, blindness, other infections, death, but in very rare cases. Remember, Mpox is rare in the US, and the virus doesn't spread easily between people without close contact. Um, I got to tell you, that's probably the most honest clinical answer I've seen in since 2020. What I just read there. That's from the Mayo Clinic, by the way. And again, I use that as my reference because it's kind of a think tank place, and I've met with some of these people, and they're more about the what does the science tell me, and here's the facts. A lot of them actually they get funded by pharma and don't like pharma at the same time because they think it corrupts the medicine. I can respect that. They think it corrupts the science by making it money instead of science. Anyway, whatever way you look at it, that's probably one of the most honest um, assessments of mpox. So essentially, it is a close contact illness. It is not a coronavirus that floats in the air. It's like a cold, right? Colds and flus, they go in the air. This does not do that. It sounds like it's shelf stable. In other words, it doesn't mutate very much. It's pretty straightforward as a disease. Um, there is another article saying sexual contact, unprotected intercourse, or other sexual activities, um, managing someone who is sick. So if the individual gets sick, the doctor gloves would be a good time to put the mask so you don't get like droplets. But it sounds like bigger droplets. It's not some airborne particulate. It's more like the guy spits on you or something and you get stuff. This is very straightforward. Um, don't have unprotected relations. Don't have relations with people randomly. Don't I guess don't hoe out in the clubs. I don't know what to say. Same that everybody. I mean, guys, girls, don't go to bed with people you don't get cooties. Folks, this is a very straightforward illness. Other articles, you can vaccinate. Should you happen to get it, it's rarely fatal. It just sucks. It's kind of like chicken pox on steroids, is what it sounds like. Um, Obviously, if you have an underlying condition, from what it sounds like, based on the make and the other reports I saw. Again, if you think you're sick in general, find a decent doctor and get medical advice. I'm an engineer. I collect data and I'm not a doctor, but that's very interesting. And that was very straightforward. Again, the Mayo Clinic is a great resource if you want to go to a non-governmental, more an academic. We're doing this for the science place. That's not a bad place to go. And Walgreens even has like how to stay clean, how to stay healthy. There are vaccines, but in reality, it really won't typically kill you. And obviously, it's a lifestyle thing too, right? If you choose a risky lifestyle that involves these kind of things, especially you're going overseas, it does seem very specifically originated in certain parts of Africa. And it originates with interaction with wild game that's not processed correctly. So, I mean, if you're going to that country for business, which I don't have to do, thankfully, that may be something you need to factor in. Like, you don't want to go out to the markets and touch shit that may give you, the monkey cootie. But yeah, folks, this is no reason to shut down anything. In my opinion, this is a reason to maintain hygiene and don't do dumb things, and be careful with one's conduct. Obviously, you think about it. If a person who is promiscuous goes into a group of people who are also promiscuous and is not symptomatic and starts to have relations with all the um, other partners, and then the partners are having relations with partners, I can see where you get clusters, and they seem to be centered in cities. You think about it, the club scene, right? You get high, you get drunk, whatever it is they do to themselves, and they go out and do dumb things, wake up in the morning with someone they don't know, and a week later you look like the king from the last kingdom. So probably not a good idea. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's just what it is. It seems like a straightforward contact virus. Just be smart, be calm. Obviously, other people may panic, but it's important you be informed because you now know, based on the science, that research people, it's like if you don't do these things, you should not get any illness. It's not something that floats around in the air like, some biological warfare weapon. So, any case, folks, I thought that was interesting. Just to put a little clarity and to bust a myth before it even starts, that society is going to come to a screeching halt because of this stuff. This sounds a hell of a lot like illnesses that float around. Just be smart, maintain your hygiene. If you're sick, stay home and see a doctor. Anyway, folks, that's it for this one. Hope you found that useful. And again, this kind of information informs how we need to react. This is not an airborne disease. This is not weaponized. This is more a thing we just don't want, but it's more than likely not going to occur to most of us on this channel. So just be careful out there. Be safe. I mean, you see someone with scars looks like a zombie, you may not want to be near them regardless of what they have. In any case, be good, be safe, travel safe, plan your trips. A lot of stuff going on the road. Don't show up to a destination and not know what the hell's happening when you get there. At least try not to. You guys be good. God bless. Godspeed. I'll see you in the video.